What's going on, guys? I just wanted to start by saying this video is well over a month, it's probably like almost a month and a half overdue. I was supposed to have it up end of October, beginning of November. That didn't happen, but I just wanted to chime in real quick before we get things started and let you know that, just because there's some things in there, you know, that might confuse somebody. Why is he mentioning Halloween and blah, 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 blah. Also, I think I mentioned at the end of the video, so I will mention it right now. This is a longer video, obviously, you know, because I fit everything in, and then also, you know, we got to have our community shout out for our, you know, independent artists out there. So because of that, I will have timestamps in the description if you want to jump to whatever portion you want to jump to for any reason, you know, if you just want to check something out, one, you know, part of it over the other, you want to jump to the community shout out, you can do that too. But also, for those of you who are just bored with the video and want to jump around because, yeah, you don't want to sit through the whole thing, I totally get that, totally understand. But also, if you're bored, I guess watch another video, or if you don't like this video, don't watch it. So yeah, YouTube actually apparently disabled the dislike button, so if you don't like it, just go ahead and throw me a comment down there saying, you know, whatever you do or don't like about it, and all it does is help the channel. So yeah, but let's get into an actual intro. Let it roll.
Would you be able to sleep in a room painted bright red? Might be hard, right? In both instances, every element you see was chosen for its darker color or lighter color to create a contrast within the film.
Wow. It's an example of the blue light that bathes the city at this time of day, and then us adding these warmer sodium vapor lights in those positions on the building.
Colors can be used to transmit a very specific emotion. However, the same color can be used to represent multiple emotions.
To this lesson particularly. Now what we are looking at here is something along the lines of an analogous color combination. Explained a little bit better, looking at the color wheel, all of your colors in your scene are kind of settling on one corner of the color wheel. So
in terms of the lighting in here and the contrasting color of light, some of it is not necessarily motivated by emotion, but it's motivated by the desire to, one, be authentic to the environment, but also to help separate the world via contrasting colors.
One of the big ones is monochromatic, and monochromatic you may hear from black and white, but that's really meaning one color. So if we wanted to go for a monochromatic scene here, what are you picking? Blue, green, red, green? I like it. Perfect. So let's go over, pick a nice green over here, match that with the MCs as well. And now we're looking at a one color scene.
What's going on, all of you beautiful people in the world of YouTube? Thank you for coming to the channel and clicking on this video. Hope you all had an amazing Halloween. Hopefully it was a safe one, but regardless, hopefully you had an amazing Halloween. Those of you who, the few of you who actually watch my videos, thanks for coming back to the channel. And if you are new, my name is Derek, and I am the Indie Film Dude. Real quick, I would like to give a kudos, quick shout out to these people over here who are have gotten some new subscribers over the last few months. So I appreciate all these people. Thank you. You know, it's very tiny channel, obviously. But, you know, we gotta do what we gotta do, and just gonna kind of, you know, keep chugging with it, you know, keep churning out videos when I can. I got a lot going on, but, you know, I'm trying to trying to get to at least that once a month, 2 in a month right now. For me, I guess it's just, I don't know, I wouldn't say impossible, it would be a pain, but, so yeah, but I appreciate all these people here, and I appreciate all you guys. And real quick, while you can, hammer that like button, hammer the subscribe button, ring that bell, and so you can get some notes in the future as to what's going on. Today's video, I want to talk about one of my absolute favorite topics when it comes to the arts, especially photography in general, film, and all that good stuff. One of my favorite topics is color. I absolutely love color, everything about it. I love using it to paint pictures, especially using the camera. You know, you can do anything with it. I mean, you know, convey emotions. You can put people into the minds of, you know, whether it's characters or, you know, your mindset or anything like that, you know, or song lyrics. Color is huge, you know. It could come from lighting. It could come from, you know, doing it in post with the editing and actually, you know, manipulating the colors. You can just use it in so many ways. And today I'm going to go over a few different aspects of it. Kind of share my opinion on things, but hopefully get some of you guys looking at things a little differently. You know, you have the textbook way that people look at it, and then you have things that are a little different. So, you know, we'll see what we can come up with. So, but yeah. Straight to it! So I'm going to try to break this down into 3 or 4 different categories, or maybe sections would be a better way to look at it. You know, what I would call intent, or like the intention of, you know, the color or the look. We're going to look at emotion, you know, trying to convey certain emotions, how you can do that, different ways that are typical, and then maybe, you know, some ways that, you know, maybe are slightly unconventional. Then we're going to look at differentiating what I would call natural versus style. Natural versus style. You know, so what would be considered, to me, what most people, it seems, the general census of like what a natural kind of look is, and what's more considered style. I mean, they can go hand in hand, but a lot of times style is definitely, you know, an extreme difference, a lot of the times, an extreme difference as opposed to natural. And the last section, basically kind of give maybe more specific of my thoughts. You know, maybe a lot of ways how I like to use color in different ways. So yeah, without further ado. What is the intention of using color? You know, it could be for whatever it is. It could be, again, to convey something specific. You wanted to use a certain color palette, make something look like it was, you know, in real life, realistic, or you wanted to make something look like it was from a comic book. You wanted to bring, you know, a video game to life, you know, anything like that. It could be a plethora of things. You want something to look like a painting. You know, a lot of times you can look at images and analyze them, and you can kind of tell maybe, you know, what you believe the direction that they were trying to go with it. Some examples are movies like Joker, Mad Max, you know, a few of these to where you have these interesting, sometimes crazy color palettes. A lot of it could be setting up the time period, but it also could be putting you in a character's mind to immerse you into the world that's going on, especially if the whole thing is supposed to be chaotic. You know, like Mad Max, for example. Everything in that movie is intended, you know, to show you the chaos and show you how, you know, not just dead the world is, but also the whole feeling of the whole movie is not just with the characters and everything, but especially the look of it is so punchy, it's so over the top, and it's so unconventional, which is awesome. You know, George Miller did I believe, I haven't watched it, but he did a black and white version of Mad Max Fury Road, which is the one I'm talking about. Mad Max Fury Road. I've not seen it, but if you've seen the original, which is in color, I really don't see how you're gonna, what you would get from the black and white. I guess he just wanted, you know, give a kind of different classic vintage feel to it. I'm not too sure. I'm sure it, you know, if you watch it, it would definitely give it a whole different feel, but to me, it would not be the same as the color version. Hopefully any of this is making sense. Yeah, do my best. So you look at other movies like Ocean's 13, if I remember correctly, that one out of most of the Ocean's movies was really the punchiest, and the colors were pretty saturated. You know, there's a lot of things you can, you know, try to figure out why, you know, Soderbergh went the way he did. You know, it could be not just showing the glamorization of the hotel and everything, but just like almost all the locations inside and out were pretty darn saturated. The lighting was saturated, you know, and then the color grade was saturated. To me, it looked awesome. You know, it was definitely different even from back then, you know, even for that movie. You know, it definitely, to me, was not the normal way to go, which is good, you know, but even then you compare that one to Mad Max, and the skin tones and everything were just, you know, it's, you know, it was really a lot different. And that's another thing, too, is, you know, color is used in a lot of ways, especially like in skin tones, you know, or makeup or anything like that. So it could be clothing, not just lighting or you know, or edit. It could be your wardrobe, it could be props, it could be things like that. You know, you could have you know, somebody wear a specific outfit to make them stand out. You know, that's like that's an intention. And that does, a lot of this does feed into the other categories or sections. I mean, it all does feed into each other. You know, intent does feed into emotion, obviously. Take Schindler's List, for example. You know, you have a little girl in a red outfit, and they're in the concentration camps, and it's black and white, but she's in a bright red outfit, and she stood out, and the intention behind that was for more than likely to show innocence and how she really just did not belong. None of them belong there, but just she really stood out. And then later on, I believe you see the jacket or the hat without her in it, so we kind of unfortunately know what happened, but it was really symbolism. And that's another thing, you know, symbolism in color too is really big. It can be really powerful, you know, when you really want something to stand out for a specific reason, and it could be right there in front of everybody, and you want it to stand out on purpose for, again, whether it's a character or any kind of meaning, but you're not telling the audience, if that makes sense. So that's something that can be done too, you know. I had a web series I never got off the ground. I think we did 1 weekend of shooting and that was it. But my whole approach to some of the characters and parts of it were I would give each of them, whether it was a prop, piece of clothing, anything like that, and something that would be red for specific characters, and they were supposed to basically represent love or represent a positive side of, you know, an opposition to what one of the characters was going through. So it's like you have the people who care about him and they're trying to support him in any way they can, you know, and so like the father had a red mug, his sister, I believe, had like a red jacket, a pawn shop broker. He was kind of supportive, but, you know, in his own way. For one of the characters, he had a caring approach to when she wanted to sell her wedding ring, and so he was apprehensive at first. He's like, you sure you want to do that, you know? And it's very subtle, very quick, but he had like a red pen, different things like that. It could be very small, it could be very big, but, you know, but the intention behind it, you know, it can mean everything. Movies like Paris, Texas, Vertigo, you know, a lot of these classics from back in the day. You could say a lot of the intention for the color and the lighting, especially, you could tell a lot of it was on set, or maybe it was part of the wardrobe or the, you know, production design. But a lot of that, you know, it could definitely be part of the whole world that people are living in. Whether you wanted it to be a sickening feeling or these people just feel lost. You got shots in like Paris, Texas, to where, I mean, you have like the street lamps are saturated green, kind of like what I have in the back going on there, which isn't used a whole lot. I love the idea behind that. And then like you had like Vertigo, you know, there was a lot going on, especially it was like a psychological thriller, you know, so a lot of it could have been, you know, they had like the neon signs in there. You have movies like Suspiria, the older one, not the new one. The new one really didn't do it, but the older one, you know, it's a horror movie. It's physical and, you know, psychological horror, but it definitely had crazy saturated colors, you know, blood red, I think harsh blues were in there, and different things like that, and they were definitely like conveying, you know, emotion or conveying what was, you know, going on in the scene, in the shot, you know, and it really made you, you know, you could really feel it. You watching a crazy saturated one colored scene, especially whether it's red or blue, and you're really getting, you know, you can kind of tell, oh, you know, something's gonna happen. You have other movies like The Secret Life of Walter Smitty, I don't know. Anyways, he chose a color palette that was kind of cooler, depending on what areas of the movie, but in that movie he actually like really kind of popped the skin tones in some scenes, which is a lot of, even that is sometimes kind of rare. People love to desaturate skin tones a lot, but anyways, so in that movie it was like kind of really, to me, kind of gave the feel maybe of the corporate world that they're in. Maybe it was supposed to feel cold in general, but I feel like that was kind of, in some ways, that was kind of a typical color palette to lean on, you know, that really blue feel to it. Yeah, you got movies like Moonlight. Moonlight used a lot of colors, and whether it was, you know, part of the location or how they color graded, you know, the whites with like, you know, cyan, and just really gave it its own feel and character. And so everything about, I mean, not every single every scene or location, but like that movie was definitely full of colors because there was a lot of emotion, a lot of, you know, things going on with the characters and their psyches and stuff. And so honestly, it could also be because that's what they wanted to do. You do not always have to have an intention behind it in the sense of, you know, oh, it has to mean this, or, you know, it's got to mean something specific, or you can't have it in there. That right there is a bunch of baloney. I don't believe that, you know, because if you feel like something's going to look good for you and for your project, right? If you think it's going to look good, then do it. If for you it feels right, you know, it just fits with what you want, and it fits your story, and it fits your scene or your picture or your painting or whatever it is, it doesn't matter if other people don't understand it. Do it anyway. If you feel like you need to explain to people what's going on, cool, go ahead. You know, I doubt that Wes Anderson had to explain why the outside of the, you know, hotel and the Budapest Hotel, I probably got that wrong, but that movie, the Grand Budapest Hotel, why those shots were, you know, bright pink. Why were they pink? Do you think he had to explain that to people? No. Maybe it was, you know, maybe people got the idea why. Maybe he was explained in the movie. Who knows? I doubt that he did that and everyone was like, oh, I don't understand why it's pink. Like, you know, no one's going to question that, you know. Again, it is for, you know, whatever you feel that you intend to do with it, whatever it is. You go in and you do it. You know, again, it could be actual colors, whether it's lighting. It could be wardrobe, props, just anything for the setting, whatever it is. Go into post-production and color it how you want, get the look you want. If it fits what you want, you just do it. Yeah, hopefully all of that made sense. Yeah, hopefully somebody got something out of that section. Emotion is a big one when it comes to color. There are different, kind of the, call it textbook, but like, you know, if you want to look at color psychology, you know, the color wheel, different things like that, that you can kind of pick out, you know, the direction you want to go with things, why you want to do it. Now, if you look at the color wheel, there's like, I mean, a plethora of different combinations of what they would call like your different color combos and contrasts and different things like that. My boy Brady Bassett did a pretty good video not long ago on that. You know, I mean, he talks about using it with lighting, but then he kind of, you know, he goes into the whole thing of, you know, complementary colors, and I'm sure there's other ones that I'm not very good at I'm not very good at remembering a lot of those, honestly, because I don't look at all the different ones. It's like you have, one on either side, 2, and then 3, and horrible explanation for what I... Go check out his video if you want to, check that out. He did an excellent job on that. And then there's also, when it comes to, but specifically for emotion, so not just, contrasting colors, but choosing certain colors, for emotion. So they don't have to, some people want to choose colors that, they have to go together. There's like, green and pink or magenta, if you're looking at kind of like what's their opposites, red and cyan, or the big one that people love, the real big one, honestly, is like the teal, what they call teal and orange is basically, teal and orange or cyan and kind of orange or yellow, that, kind of dynamic. And they choose that because it's supposed to be like a, complementary, right? You choose for what you want the emotion to be. A good example of this, it was a good surprise for me whenever I first color graded this movie. It was my first official color grading job, but it was a short film that I did, I believe it was end of 2019 that I got it finally done, or early 2020, for director Wendy Salinas Johnson. There was several different color shifts through the movie. It was like an 11-minute movie, and we had several different color shifts. She kind of flipped it. A lot of times, usually, filmmakers will take a happy scene, a happy scenario, and it'll be colorful and saturated and all that stuff. And then if it's something sad or, kind of depressing, they'll, go into either a colder feel, cooler tones, not very vibrant at all, sometimes desaturated. She kind of flipped it around, and honestly, if you look at kind of what they kind of put out there, some of the meanings behind color, a lot of it for whether it's thought, emotion, representation of colors and different things like that, she flipped it in the sense of like when things were bad, especially between the main married couple, and things got heated, she went the opposite. She went with saturated colors, and it like kind of saturated more and more each scene, and it got harsher, and sometimes it warmer colors and punchier. And then whenever our main female character was happy, and whenever she was like in her happier place with somebody else, it was cooler tones, not always as saturated, but it was a lot cooler, so it was more relaxed, and she felt better about everything, and she didn't have to worry about the drama. That's really really polar opposite of what most people would approach, and I love that, and it was awesome, And then like the in-between, when it came with her husband, he was just jumping back and forth. He didn't know how he wanted to feel about, this part of his life, that part of his life. Things were a lot more desaturated, sometimes flatter, and so that was kind of, was definitely an interesting vibe that, we had for that movie. I'll try to remember to link it down below, so you guys can go check that video out. It's called Hello Beautiful. There's a site, I'll try to again link it also, called colormeanings.com. Again, you don't always have to look at it like this, but these are really cool kind of starting points for like color meanings. Well, again, whether it goes into emotion, psychology, representation, whatever. You look at colors like red, it's supposed to symbolize action, strength, energy, passion, positively, courage, desire, and the negative, anger, danger, things like that. Orange, emotion, youth, optimism. The positive side of it could be spontaneity, creativity, warmth. Negative could be superficial, impatient. Now, obviously, a lot of people, you would tell them those colors. It's like orange. Personally, I mean, when someone tell me orange, I would not think of someone being superficial if they're wearing orange. I wouldn't associate with that. I could personally associate all colors in life with something happy. It's not hard. As we get older, we don't wire ourselves to do that. We almost pinpoint emotions for specific colors, and then that's how we end up representing it in art and different things like that. To me, it's like I think in doing that, we limit ourselves, because you could say like green. I mean, if you look at green, harmony, safety, growth, health. As far as the positive, it could be hope, luck, Lucky Charms, 4-leaf clover. I could still look at green or orange and still think happy. I can think of red and happy. And that you could use as a general term, yes, that still to me fits, because I mean, you know, you look at movies like Amelie, there are a lot of green tones in that movie, and some of it seemed like a happy movie, and they went crazy with the green. But then you can look at like The Matrix, to where it was in the computerized version of reality, right? And people want to associate green with, you know, sickness or dull and mundane. Even with the movie Inside Out, disgust, she was green, right? When you see grass outside, or the trees and nature, that can bring happiness to people, and that's awesome, you know, and especially if you really pop those colors, you know, and people wear green, you know, to me, I don't associate that with disgusting. You can use these colors with anything, you know, red, purple, it can be used for something mysterious. To me, you could still use that as mundane. I mean, I like to sometimes use purple as kind of like, you know, somebody who feels like they're in limbo, but to me, it can still be, you know, represented for passion, love. Being able to look at these colors, and instead of always looking at colors the way most people do, you know, try looking at it a little differently. That's what I'm hoping for some of this for you guys to look at, is you don't have to look at everything conventionally, because that's how they'll train you to do it. You know, whether it's in schooling or whatever, people will say, oh, we use this for this color, this for that. Use soft light for this, use hard light for that, you know, but they never, you know, the way they tell you to do it and the way they teach you, essentially, it's not the be all end all. You know, they want to teach you, you know, you have to have it a certain way, and you don't. Convey it how you want to convey it, and do it how you want to do it. You can flip it all around if you want. If you want to have a scene to where everybody is happy with family, the kid's playing with his dog. If you do want a scene to where there's sadness, you know, there's a sad scenario going on, you can use whatever color tones you want. You can go with purples and greens and blues and yellows, you know. I mean, you can go with green and purple, you know, that could be associated with, you know, Joker or Barney. You can go with red or yellow, you know, you can go, you know, maybe it'll look like fire, maybe it won't. If you want something to be sad, you don't have to use blue or make it cold or desaturated. You can use it however you want. You approach things how you want to approach it, what you feel is best for you to convey what you want to convey. Don't let other people always dictate what you want. If you want to go with the norm, nothing wrong with that. Go with the norm. That's as simple as it gets. Natural versus style. What I think most people consider, at least I guess if I go in the filmmaking world, to be natural. If you look at movies like The Tree of Life, look at some of the Marvel movies, quite a few of them, to me, they lean them more towards natural, which in some ways, personally, I think is flat. A lot of times it's desaturated. It may not be extreme, but I mean, to me, it's enough. That's a lot of times what they consider natural. You know, a lot of people will tell you that looks more natural, and then if you go a lot more saturated, like Blade Runner, Mad Max, one of the, you know, any of those, wait, that doesn't look natural, you know, but like, to me, flat is not natural, especially if you got the sun coming out and everything hitting the trees. I mean, the greens are popping, the grass is, you know, just, you know, the color on people's cars is popping, the sky is popping. I mean, there's not, to me, the world is not just a flat, desaturated look, but, you know, again, that's how people perceive it, and so that's the norm that they like to do in TV shows and movies. If you look at a movie like Captain Fantastic, now that movie, it's not flat. To me, it is leaning towards a natural look, but it's very clean. So it's very clean. There's not like an extra cast over it. You know, they didn't put like an extra tone of yellow or orange or anything like that. You know, like in some of these shots, like with Viggo Mortensen, it's clean. The trees are kind of popping. You still got, you know, the hint of his skin tones and all that, you know, but it's not just flat. That's another look to me that if you're going with something natural, I'd lean more towards that. I'm not a fan of desaturating things. I don't know. I'm just not a fan of it. You know, again, if it serves a purpose, you know, and that's what and I have a specific reason for it, but I mean, in general, I don't see the world as just a flat image. That's the difference between you have natural and then you have style. Style, yes, encompasses, you know, everything. You know, it's a general term, but to me, I kind of relate that to, you know, when you want colors to pop, Like like look at The Hangover, some of those shots, you got, the green lighting, and then you have the it above, and it's kind of poppy and saturated, and but that again, that's a style they went for that movie. Even with comedies, sometimes comedies are desaturated, or sometimes they kind of have a bloomy highlighted look to them. A lot of that still comes back to the filmmaker, the creator. Again, they could be conveying something specific. They could just be like, well, this is a bar, so we set it up like a bar, and who knows what bar it is. It could be a million different bars in the world, and not all bars have neon lights, and not all bars are dark and dingy with sodium vapor. So it really just depends on the feeling and convey they're going for. So this shot here could easily be drama, comedy, horror. This exact lighting setup and color tones and everything could be used for anything. A lot of times, honestly, I still firmly believe, because this is it's a lot of times that I run into, is that they go into the color room, and they create a look there. They don't always know exactly what they want. Oh, I want, I haven't seen it in a while, but a popular one used to be like putting blue in the shadows. In the deep shadows they put blue, and then everything else would stand out, but like the deep shadows that have blue. It wasn't always cyan, or there wasn't always cyan in the whites and things like that. Of course, a lot of that does come from if you're shooting film or digital, but that's a whole nother thing. So, and then you got movies like Arrival. Now, Arrival is definitely a stylistic looking movie. Everything is so dark. I mean, not every scene is specifically all just flat and dark. I say flat and dark, but like dark, we can't see anything. A lot of it, even like the very simple scenes with everything, like even how they lit it. I mean, you could tell they went in post and just crushed it, but that was a look for the whole movie. All the outdoor stuff is still crushed, but that was definitely the approach for that movie from the beginning. Just whole thing is just kind of crushed. Again, that's a style, that's a look. Sometimes some of the, you could say, oh, well, it still might look natural, but to me that is really a stylistic approach. So my final thoughts on this, per se, again, you don't always have to have the approach that everybody wants you to have. It doesn't matter what kind of movie you want to make, what kind of picture you want to take, what kind of painting you want to paint, whatever you want to convey. Honestly, you just have something in your head and you want to get it out there, and you just have like a specific color palette that you just really love and you want to go with it. I mean, you can, if you want to lean into browns and yellows or whatever, you want to like, basically give a chocolate feel to something, then do it. There's nothing wrong with that. There is no right or wrong way to do things. And that's my thing too. A lot of people they always want to give the stigma that there's a right way and a wrong way to do something, especially with, in art, but this is not a thing. To me, that's not a thing. That doesn't make any sense, So, I mean, it's like, I threw up this light here, you got my softbox here, I got a gel up over here, and then I got a green light back there, Didn't have a specific thing I was conveying or anything. I just chose those colors, and I know what my light's going to be, and that's what I did. It doesn't always have to be that specific. It doesn't always have to be, And so there's nothing wrong with you, and there's nothing wrong with you creating look later on, like when you're taking a picture and you don't go through you don't have the time to set something up, like set up a whole scenario or a scene, or like with specific wardrobes or props or anything like that. If you don't have that and you just take a picture, you just film something, and then you go and post and you just throw a look over it, nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's a lot of YouTubers that in post, it doesn't matter literally what they do. They can shoot any video, take any picture. They have a generic, what they would call brand, as far as color and look, that they just slap over everything. I don't know, personally, I'm just not into that myself, but, that's what they do. They just slap this brand look over every single thing they do, and, they keep everything consistent. I get it, but, like, so it doesn't matter what they can wear the same thing. They can wear different things. They can be in different locations. They can do whatever. It could be summer, winter, whatever. Same look or whatever. So that right there is a prime example of them doing what they want, how they want to do it. It may not make sense to the average person, but like so that's the approach they have. I hope you guys got something out of this video. It may end up being a little lengthy, and yeah, so I probably did or didn't mention it before, but I do have timestamps in the bottom, so I will have those. I'm way at the end of the video, but that's basically my spiel. A lot of ranting again, but like I just wanted to show you guys that you can do, practically endless things with your art and your movies. And it doesn't have to be the norm. It could be something just way out, in left field. It could be anything. Just approach it how you want to approach it. And everybody, you don't need to conform to what everyone else wants, You don't got to do that. So, but we are now going to jump to the segment that we cannot ever forget on this channel. The community shout out. Welcome to the community shout out. This is a portion on my channel where I like to give a shout out and kudos and recognition to any indie artist out there who, basically deserves it, which, as far as I'm concerned, most of us do. It doesn't matter what kind of artist you are. You could be a filmmaker, a photographer, a painter, a baker, a chef, a wood craftsman, whatever it is. I find names that I can for either people I know or there's just anyone out there that I can find the awesome stuff that they do and that they can provide for people. And then also it's where you guys can send in any suggestions that you have, whether it's a friend, a family member, whoever it is in your town or city, your area. That's basically what we do here, for those of you who have never seen it, and for those of you who care what it is. First up, we are giving a shout out to Kerri Miller. She is an actor based in Illinois, and she also does work in Missouri, in the St. Louis area. She's a fantastic actress. She's a hard worker. One of her most recent notoriety pieces of work has actually been a Superman fan film. It was actually, I believe on YouTube, it's called Superman World War fan film, and I will link it in the description so you guys can go check it out. But it's a really cool movie, and it's gotten, I'm pretty sure, at least a couple million views over the years, possibly more, but it was independently made and independently funded. They put a lot of hard work into it. Kerri Miller plays Lois Lane in that movie. She does a fantastic job. She's also going to be shining soon in my upcoming short film, so I'm excited for you guys to see that next year in 2022, hopefully. I would check her out. I'll link all her stuff. She's got, Instagram, Facebook, IMDb, if you want to contact her for any kind of work inquiries or anything like that, or you just want to show her some love. Next shout out goes to Darryl Wilson. He's a small business owner. I believe he lives in Albuquerque, New Mexico. That's where he's based out of. He has a lot of ventures, I know, going on, but one of the main shops that he owns is Mark 66. He has a lot of vendors with their crafts and different things that they make in there, merchandise. And actually, the first video I ever did, I believe, I gave a shout out to Shalane Creations, who have their stuff in there. So I would check him out. He's got Facebook. If he has an Instagram, I will link that. Any kind of websites, I'll link that too. But he's he's definitely a believer in small business owners and independent artists, and just helping people get their name out there, and helping people just to be able to reach the masses, what they can offer. I'm not sure if he does like events and shows and stuff like that, but yeah, so I will link all his stuff down there. Final shout out goes to Caleb Foss. He's a 16-year-old, I believe, in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and he does a lot of really cool work with Paracord. If you check his stuff out, he does like bracelets, I believe necklaces, probably keychains, and different things like that. He has a Facebook shop under Paracord United. I'm not sure if that's like an official business, but check it out nonetheless, guys. He's also been getting into like craft shows and things like that, and he's really getting his name out there pretty quickly. And I'm not sure if he's in the Merc 66 store, but if you're in Albuquerque, you can check that out too. So either way, make sure to go show all of these people some love and support and everything they deserve. Again, make sure that you can send in some comments below of any independent artists that you know that you want to give a shout out to, and I will do my best to sift through them and work them through my videos. But I love giving kudos to who feels they deserve it, the hard workers, the people who are not getting the recognition that they probably deserve. If you made it to the end of the video, I really appreciate you watching this. I appreciate you guys watching my other videos, whoever is watching these videos. Again, I really appreciate the viewership and the interaction. Make sure you go check out my social medias, Instagram, Facebook. I do have an IMDb page and I'm really working on trying to update. Do not forget to hammer the like and the subscribe button. Ring the bell. Everything you can to get on this channel. If you didn't like the video, hey, subscribe anyway. That way you know who not to watch in the future. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like a reminder. And don't forget to tell the world about moi. What is that? I'm trying to end my video here. Whoa. I got a beat going. Oh, man. You feeling it? I'm feeling it. Like I can't stop. Yeah. I don't know what's going on. I don't know, guys. I'm sucked in. Until next time.
From the turf, I never switch sides. Like even when I die, I'm a